We really wanted it to be a bookstore that you could just only find in Naples. And we actually felt it was so important that when people gave us advice to the contrary, they said, you don't want to do that. You shouldn't do that. You should have it be a bookstore you can find anywhere. And we were like, no, we're pretty sure this is going to be a bookstore you can only find in Naples. I'm Shan Ophie Byram.
And I'm Lindsay Smith.
And our business is Books on Third. So we're a general interest bookstore. We have everything from board books for babies through a fully stocked children's section, fiction, nonfiction. We're sitting in the living room of the store right now. So this is where all of the beautiful things live. Our architecture, cooking, travel, but fully stocked nonfiction section. We have to be selective about what's on our shelves, but we really hope that Books on Third has something for everybody. I mean, this space, believe it or not, when we looked at it the first time, the windows were all covered. It was essentially a storage room for the rest of the building. Old carpet, old ceiling tiles, really every surface in here needed to be upgraded.
We did have to have an engineering study to make sure everything was safe and sound, and it came back solid, and that was good news.
I think real estate presented a bit of a challenge. We knew where we wanted to be. We knew, I first said downtown or bust, and then very quickly changed that to 3rd Street or bust. We knew in Naples that's the place we wanted to be. We like the feel on the street. We like the walkability. We like the environment. It's, just steps from the beach. We love the restaurants and the other shops that are around here. So this felt like the place we wanted to be. So making that a reality within the budget that we had available was part of the challenge. I think it came together fairly easily, but it took the real estate part took some work. We're both new to this industry, so the learning curve was steep.
Very steep. And the book industry works in a different way. So learning to work with one publisher one way and another publisher another way was challenging. I would also say our remodel, we did a complete remodel. That part was a lot of effort.
When we were building the business plan and pulling together, financials and that sort of thing, I was scouring, kind of looking for resources. I stumbled upon SBDC and just sent an email saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Is there some way that you could help us? We're trying to build a business plan. At that point, we were preparing a package to send out for some funding. And the immediate response was yes. And actually, Angel Segura, who we were partnered up with, is a coach with the SBDC and had previously worked in the magazine industry. So he had knowledge of publishing and helped people start small businesses before, even down to the littlest detail of okay, you need to make sure that when you go to the city of Naples, you do this part with the form. And all this stuff that we had, the boxes we had to tick and the T's we had to cross and the I's we had to dot, he was there with us every step of the way.
And I think it's important to say that the SBDC, we've talked about numbers and forms, but it quickly became also a relationship, which matches with what we want here. We want a community. It's important to know that with trust, we developed a friendly relationship. Once our angel or advisor knew the type of business we were going for, he sought out local bookstores, he sought out international bookstores, and sent us texts and pictures. And that part of business matters too. The numbers matter, but the relationship really matters as well. And it is part of the trust. And even cheerleading bit.
Cheerleading a lot.
Yeah.
When we got our books, so 16,000 books arrived on the 29th of September, which is 13 days before we opened. And these books arrived in a store that was not fully assembled with bookshelves, so our carpentry was still actively working. The center of the bookstore was a carpenter's shop with sawdust and tools and all the things that go along with that. And the books came on 16 pallets, each of the pallets stacked as tall as me, which I know is not super tall, but tall enough that it's a lot of books on every pallet. And Angel was here, and he was unpacking books. There's shelves in the children's section that he organized because he just wanted to come and support us. So this was a friendship that he'll always be part of the starting story of Books on Third. Yeah. If we had to do this over again, we wouldn't do it without Angel.
No, for sure not. And it gave us a sense of relief especially at the end of the process, saying, can we just ask Angel if we've done everything before we open? That somebody else was looking out for paperwork type issues through the county. And it was, and we had brainstorming sessions for ideas, and having him review things before we submitted was really great.
I think it left us with a sense of confidence, because a lot of times we got the information that we didn't have and needed. And then there were a lot of times where we kind of got a little reassurance, like, you're on the right track and what you're thinking is a good idea. And this seems like a solid plan. And at the end of it, we still talk with our coach. We still talk with Angel. He still, provides us suggestions and input, even though we're now open and launched. But I think it just gave us a sense of confidence that, we were on the right track. And now we sort of feel like, okay, we got this. We're good. When this idea popped into Lindsay's head to open a bookstore in Naples, she was right. We were right that the city needs and wants this, and people keep telling us that. So for me, it's fun and rewarding to hear that.
We've talked about it, so I know it's true for you too, that this is important to show our kids.
Right.
And that is, both of us are moms first. We just are. And we want our own life and hear about other things too, but this is really important to show our kids to be good business people and also good humans.